everyone has this moment if they're going to look after global teams and businesses that have either global scale or global ambition. Everyone has this moment where they move to a geographical diversification of focus and resources away from just a single market or a single region within a market. This is the first time, at least at scale, that you had to do that across different countries, where you're diversifying both talent focus, resources that you're spending as well as using, and just your time management and decision-making focus across multiple markets. What are some of the things that you learned that someone needs to think about as they're diversifying across multiple markets?
Yeah. So it's a great question. And there's a couple things that I learned kind of after the fact that I think I almost wished I'd known at the time. But the big question that we wrestled with at Flexport, in regards to building this SDR team, was to centralize it or to decentralize it. And so at the time when I joined, we were centralized, meaning we were booking and setting demos for all of our global offices in one office in San Francisco. So we were calling out into all these different geos. And the thinking was that because it was centralized, like we would be, there was sort of a central knowledge hub. We could help ramp reps faster. We could institute best practices. We could roll out change faster. We could just generally move faster. And so to remind, like at Zenefits, we were a centralized model, right, where we had this giant office in Scottsdale, Arizona. But what we figured out was that these global markets were really different. Outbound in Amsterdam looks very, very little like it does in San Francisco or New York City.
Right.
It's a completely different game, and similar to Hong Kong, which is, worlds away in terms of being able to prospect into accounts. And so we ended up deciding to decentralize it, which was the right decision, because most of the subject matter expertise for that local market lived in that local market. And so you had like a GM and you had some senior salespeople in that local market who could partner up with an SDR to help target the right types of accounts. And so I think for me, that was actually a big exercise in just letting go and not being the one to sort of control all the campaigns that we were running and all of the different messaging we were using. And the advice that I got from a senior executive at Flexport at the time was encouraging me to think about the function as a service to the global GMs that we were working with, as sort of like a service provider. And as a salesperson, you don't typically think of yourself as a service provider. Right. But basically what they were telling me was that to really focus on like listening to what the unique problems were in each of these markets and provide expertise and consultation on how to solve them, but ultimately give that local GM sort of the credence and responsibility to make that decision. And honestly, it was kind of hard for me. I came from a place where I was successful because I was the one who was controlling and making decisions for, this big organization at Zenefits. And so Flexport was a challenge for me, just in the sense that success meant sort of like letting go and bringing sort of subject matter expertise to the table and making recommendations and asking, offering it more as a consultant, but ultimately leaving those decisions to the local GMs. And so I guess to come back to your question about how I'd recommend, folks who have global geos that they're selling into, I think you should treat each one like its own unique problem set and hopefully get, an expert in there to be the owner of that problem set sooner rather than later, and then just provide support.